Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a great Saturday. Ramadan Kareem to those observing, and happy Easter to those celebrating in Palestine and elsewhere. Welcome to the Toronto Palestine Film Festival's second fundraising event. Today will be our second virtual event of Ramadan for 2021, and we are so excited for today because it's a live cooking demo. I am Mahmoud Abdel Malik, and I am one of the organizers of the Toronto Palestine Film Festival, focusing mostly on sponsorships and fundraising. On behalf of the TPFF committee, I would like to acknowledge that this festival is based on the traditional territories of several First Nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Huron-Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee. We think it is important that as we witness the effects of the colonization of Palestinian lands, that we also acknowledge the effects of colonization of the lands of the First Nations here in Canada. Like many organizations around us, the pandemic has accelerated the need to find new ways to engage our audience and to showcase the Palestinian narrative and the work of Palestinian artists. This need has given the rise to the concept of Virtual Pals, an online event with the aim of providing a platform to showcase and highlight Palestinian films, art, food, and other forms to our supportive audience locally and abroad. Going virtual last year has expanded our festival to audiences tuning in from around the world. More locally, given the impact of this pandemic has had on small businesses in our community, this year we have also relaunched Sahtain at Home, Ramadan edition. As you plan your dinner or iftar with friends and family, we have curated a collection of local community restaurants, such as Flaming Stove and Eggstatic, whose chefs are with us here today, and have put together special menus and special offers for our TPFF community. We'd like to thank them for their continued support each year. The specials are available at the link you will see on your screen shortly. From a financial perspective, TPFF, just like many other organizations, has not come out unscathed from these hard times. Our financial capacity has been stretched thin, and while our small business sponsors have tried their best, they are also stretched thin. This is why I now turn to our wonderful audience who have supported us year in and year out for support. It is very critical for us to continue the work of keeping Palestinian arts and culture a beacon in our community and the world for our 14th year. I am asking you to contribute to our fundraiser with any amount you can, whether it's big or small. To do so, simply visit the link that you see on your screen to contribute. I do want to remind you that TPFF is a volunteer-run festival. It is organized by a very small team, but a mighty team of volunteers. 100% of donations go directly to setting up and operating this festival, which is happening this year, September 22nd to the 26th, and it's our 14th year. So we're very excited. Before I start with today's event, I'd like to talk to you about the Nakba event coming up. So I'd like to remind you that our 14th annual Nakba commemoration film and discussion will happen on May 15th and 16th. Please save the dates and visit tpff.ca for more details. The Nakba is continuing across Palestine, including Sheikh Jarrah, Jerusalem, Jaffa, and the West Bank. And we call on the Canadian government to act on the recommendations in the Human Rights Watch report and support the International Criminal Court investigations of crimes committed against Palestinians. Now, on to today's event. This event is actually being co-presented by our friends at the Mina Film Festival. I am super excited, and I'm starting to get hungry already. Be prepared for a delicious live cooking demo and an interactive discussion with Toronto-based chefs Costa Warwar from Flaming Stove and Faris Awwad from Eggstatic. Eggstatic serves a delicious array of Arab brunch dishes and is available for takeout and delivery. Flaming Stove is recognized as one of the top restaurants serving Arab cuisine in the city. It is offering takeout and delivery of its popular dishes during the province-wide stay-at-home order. Both Costa and Faris have been friends and very supportive of TPFF over the years. I am looking forward to what they have in store for us today. So if we can bring the chefs in and introduce them to the audience. Hi, Costa. Hi, Faris.
How you doing?
How are you?
Very good, very good. Excited to be participating in this. It's fantastic, and it's an opportunity to connect with people who you haven't seen for a long time.
I am super pleased. We're all super pleased to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. The ingredients are looking fresh and delicious and ready to go. Faris, how are you?
Hi, Awwad. How are you? Pleasure being here today. I'm excited for this event.
I'm excited as well, and I'm sure our audience is as well. For the audience, just as a reminder, if you'd like to order any dishes from Flaming Stove or Eggstatic, the ordering links are on your screen. Or when we share with you the ingredients, if you do have the ingredients at home, feel free to cook along with Costa and Faris for your dinner or iftar, if you'd like. So we'll be starting off actually with Costa. Costa will be kicking off this session, and then Faris will follow. Costa, before we start, do you want to give the audience just an intro into what you will be cooking today?
Sure. I decided for today to do something that's pretty simple, that anyone could do, really, anyone could do at home. Basically, two ingredients are the main ingredients, which is eggplant, and this is to our food culture, it's important, and zucchini. Everyone uses this every day for so many things. The recipe that I'm using is something that needs few steps, and you got yourself a couple of appetizer dishes that you could enjoy, and you could, do them anytime, anywhere. It's really simple. The first one is the eggplant slices roasted, and I will be topping it in a three pepper relish that's mixed with olive oil, lemon, and some coriander. And while I'm doing that, I cheat in the process while I add zucchini on the side of the pan when I'm roasting the eggplant, and I get another dish automatically without doing much effort. So anyone could really do this.
That's
and
perfect.
I'm doing a small amount for anyone, for 2 to 3 people, no more.
That sounds efficient and delicious. For just the audience members, I'm just going to call out the ingredients in case you are looking to follow along. So Costa will be using 2 eggplants, 3 peppers of different colors, fresh coriander, lemon, olive oil, salt, and pepper. So the ingredients are very simple, but sometimes with simple ingredients, beautiful dishes come out. So I'm super excited for this.
Simplicity is the key for any kind of cooking. To complicate things is to make them more than what they should, and I believe in that. I believe in the simpler, the better. And the easier, the more that people could enjoy it anytime.
I completely agree with you. So just for the audience, throughout these sessions, we welcome your comments and questions in the comment section. I will try to make sure we get as many of those questions answered from Costa as possible. Costa, feel free to get started, and then if any questions come through, I'll mention them to you right away.
Sounds good. Just to start, I washed everything, so that's a common practice before you start, and just to save us our time in here. So you start with taking eggplants, and I just want to mention something about eggplant. When you want to pick any eggplant, it should be firm, not soft. And for this recipe, the thinner, or there's the bulging eggplant, which we use for barbecuing and then making the baba ganoush. This one is here to slice it and make slices out of it. So the thinner diameter, the better it becomes in result-wise, because it holds better. So easily, I'm gonna start by just chopping this eggplant, and you take the top off, and you just clean that extra green that goes in here. And after that, we're gonna slice it to about an inch. In slices about an inch thick, and we do that for both eggplants. I usually will take the bottom in the last piece. I wouldn't leave it, just so it will sit properly, otherwise it will become wobbly. And the same thing with the other one too.
It looks like it's important that the pieces are uniform sizes.
Yeah, well, more or less, thickness is the most important because it will cook all at the same time, but not necessarily anything else, just the thickness. But it's again, it will work no matter what. So when I did the eggplant in here, now I'm just gonna dress it. And to dress it, I'm using salt and I'm using a little bit of pepper. And then olive oil will come in the picture. It's a main, and that's about it. I don't put anything else. So salt, you should be a little bit generous with salt when you do eggplant. Don't be afraid. You know, I do a couple in here. It's about two teaspoons for these amounts, but to your liking. Little bit of pepper, not too much pepper, and then olive oil again. Not to be afraid. A little bit generosity will be okay with this recipe because eggplant absorbs a lot of the stuff. So you will just toss everything together, and you should see the eggplant more or less getting coated with the whole olive oil, salt, pepper in there. And basically, when you see all the oil got absorbed into the eggplant, and you see it, you know, more or less have a shiny end to it. That's the hardest thing on this recipe is done. You just line them up on a sheet for the oven. And I usually will put the oven at 400 degrees. And I will start roasting these while I'm preparing the relish. Right now, I already have one roasted, so I really don't have to rush it. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to stop this for a second because I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to include the zucchinis, which is the other one that I usually accompany with this because it's easy. So the zucchini in here, you take about a couple of zucchinis, 3 zucchinis. Again, we find the smaller, the better. You know, the zucchinis comes in different sizes. So small size would be the best. So again, to get small little circle discs, and about an inch again. Mm-hmm. Same thing we do. You could use the same bowl that you used with the eggplant. Wouldn't affect it.
So this would be the new part of the recipe as well, Costa, right? Because usually eggplant seems to be the hero of this dish.
Yes, and the dish is 2 dishes really. The eggplant will be separate. It's just when I'm roasting, I roast both together just to get 2 dishes at the same time. And this way, I'm just taking the benefit of having the oven on, and this is it. I now will toss again the zucchini with the olive oil, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, but also I will add dry mint to this. So that's the only thing that I do extra for the zucchini. So salt to taste, pepper to taste. Mm-hmm. Mint, again, to taste, up to you how much. I like a lot of mint, so I put a quite generous amount. And then the olive oil. And here I put a bit less olive oil than the eggplant because zucchini does not, you know, have that spongy texture. And then, again, tossing it. And then lining it next to the eggplant. So basically now I'm ready to go to the oven. And what I got is zucchini in one side, eggplant in another side. You need a 400-degree oven, preheated, and about half an hour. Within half an hour, guaranteed that this will be ready to go. So I'll just put this on the side, and we will work now on the eggplant recipe, which is the relish.
The relish, yeah.
Yeah, and that we're going to prepare now. So when I have the oven working, I'm doing the rest of the stuff. By the time I finish, that's done, then I'm ready to go. So for the relish, for the eggplant, I'm using 3 color pepper just for visual, really, and also for taste. It gives you a different kind of balance on the taste. And what I need to do is I'm trying to get very small dice from all of these peppers, more or less. So I usually take the top, I take the bottom, I save them for something else to be used later on. I'm just doing that with all 3. And we take the center and the seed off very easily like that. And then we could slice it open and just go in and take off the excess leafy part that's inside to get it into having a smooth, flat surface for us to work with. And I'll do that with the other ones.
So Costa, would you say a lot of your menu is fusion, or do you like to have twists on traditional dishes? Flaming stone generally?
I do like my own kind of twist on certain things. Certain things I like. For instance, when we do the sage bread, I don't interpret this in any way, shape, or form. It's very hard to do certain things and interpret them. But when it comes to any other dishes, if it's mutabbal, hummus, if it's salads, tabbouleh, like for instance, we use with the tabbouleh instead of the cracked wheat, burghul, we use quinoa. And that's something that I found that I like, because it gives you that extra benefit of having quinoa in it. It's more kind of modern. It's not traditional, because in back home we don't know what quinoa is. It wasn't an ingredient that was available to us. So sometimes we encounter ingredients in here that we are introduced to them, and then we find that they are able to be used in different ways in a traditional meal. Why not? If you like them, you do them. There is really no rules about what you should eat and how you should eat it. As long as you like it, you like it. There's a traditional way of doing something, but there's also your way of doing it. And I'm all about interpretation, as long as someone's eating it in the end and someone's liking it. That's the key.
Yeah, no, I agree. It also keeps things interesting, right? And it allows you to experiment a little bit more.
And food keeps changing throughout our life. Like I'm sure the way we cook now is different than our grandparents, and because we have more ingredients. Our grandparents were cooking in a more simplistic way because they had less ingredients. And even from my experience from back home, different areas from the north to the south, the same recipe will change in the way it's done. From house to house, it changes. So there's the most popular, common way of doing something, but there's also individual influences that comes in. Some wins through the race and they become more common. So I like to approach food with not being afraid to play a little bit with it and try to see how you could make it more to your liking. And in that, sky's the limit. As long as someone's eating it, I say. As long as someone's liking it, Okay, yeah. So in here we got the 3-color pepper. And again, visually they look really good. And it's a small dice that we're doing. And to that, again, salt is important to this. So we add the salt, little bit of pepper, not too much. And in here, I forgot that I need actually coriander. So I got a couple of slacks of coriander, not too much. Coriander is pretty strong in taste, potent kind of thing. So I'm gonna just chop some of that and throw it on top of the radish that we have in here. And it doesn't have to be very thin. Again, to your like, whatever you like. I like it a little bit coarse, but not too coarse.
And I imagine having different peppers might introduce a little bit of sweetness from some of the different colors.
Yeah, it adds sweetness. It adds kind of tartness. Definitely they have different tastes, but also the visual. The visual is very important. We have a saying that we say in back home that say you have to feed the eye before you feed someone. So visually it has to be attractive, and that's the key in here. So olive oil on top of all of that. Not too much. You don't need a lot in there. Just a little bit to combine everything together.
You can never have enough olive oil, especially for Palestinian dishes.
Yes, definitely. And lemon juice. Again, lemon. I added about a tablespoon almost of. It depends on your palate. You could taste this and make it more or less, but I usually put 1 tablespoon of lemon, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, something to start with, and then I go from there. And that's what you end up with. So just that's now ready. We put it on the side. what I need to do is prepare a little bit of parsley for the zucchini, to top the zucchini, basically. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually rinse this for a second because the coriander will carry through in the flavor. And so parsley, again, something that's very dear to our hearts in the Middle East, in all the Middle East cooking, I think, and Mediterranean even.
Yes.
So you could be generous with this, no problem. Parsley
I
never
think
goes to waste.
pretty soon we'll also share the ingredient list of the zucchini, because we want to make sure if anyone is following along, they have the right ingredients. But yeah, parsley and coriander are very essential for sure.
Yes.
How long has Flaming Stove been open, Costa? How long have you had that restaurant now?
We've been open for 11 years now. And, you know, we had a lot of different periods that we went through. Nothing like what's going on right now.
Yeah, definitely a tough time now. I'm just gonna call out I'm just gonna call out the ingredients quickly, Costa, and then we'll get back to that same conversation. So, roasted zucchini with tomato and mint dressing. Ingredients: 5 small zucchinis, 1 cup of chopped parsley, 1 chopped tomato, mint leaves, juice from 1.5 lemons, 2 teaspoons of salt, tahini paste, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So that's the sort of second dish that Costa's cooking along with the eggplant.
Yeah, now we are almost done, believe it or not. So when you got that eggplant and zucchini from the oven done and roasted, you could cool it off a little bit, and then I'm just gonna put it in. It will look something like that.
Oh, that looks great.
So, color-wise, the eggplant should be in a brown kind of, you know, golden form, and the zucchini will have this also brownish in it, and it's ready. This is as simple as this. I take the eggplants. You could put them in on a plate. And really, all you need to do after this is take the relish and just top each one of them with some. I need a smaller spoon. This is too big.
So I guess you would call that relish, right? Is what you call it?
It's a relish. It's a, yeah. It's again, yeah. It is a relish because it has dressing and it has the peppers in it. So that's I believe that's what you call it. Mtabbal, which is what we usually, because mtabbala, which is where you mix it with something. That's what it is. So that's the closest thing that I could relate to in English.
Yeah, that makes sense. It looks really good.
And it tastes really good. So on that first dish is done and ready to be eaten. It's a beautiful appetizer. And you could add a little bit of olive oil if you want on that. Or you could add a little bit of tahini. You could add a little bit of balsamic vinegar if you want. But I wouldn't. I like it just like that. But you could do anything you want. Now for the other one, it's very simple. You take the zucchini that we did, line them up in a plate. They're already flavorful. You don't need to add a lot of flavor. All I add to them is a drizzle of the pomegranate molasses, but you also could do tahini with tomatoes. I like that on it too. You could do just it by itself and you know, put some lemon juice and olive oil. Easy and simple. I like it with a little bit of a drizzle of the pomegranate molasses.
Oh, that's the perfect combination.
It is. It tastes really good because it gives it a lot of flavor, depth, and lemony and sweetness. And that's it.
That's awesome. Costa, do you mind if we zoom in a bit on the dishes so the audience can see them more clearly? Okay. All right. Wow. That looks fantastic.
So that is the zucchini, and that is the eggplant. And as they say,
That's awesome.
enjoy. Bon appetit.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And they're both veggie dishes as well. So if people are not feeling like they want to eat meat or chicken,
they're
vegan. Yeah.
They're vegan. Actually, I'm glad you brought the vegetarian and vegan. I believe that it is important to tap into a lot in our culture that we eat from a source of plant. We really eat meat, but we don't eat meat as readily as we are exposed to in here. We are. I remember in back home that in different seasons, people will go to the mountains. They will get some ingredients from the like khubezi or ilet or anything that they could find. And I found that we ate a lot more plant-based than not. So I go back a lot to that because it satisfies you as a chef that you're trying to, or as a person, you're trying to recreate simplicity, but in a beautiful way.
I completely agree, and they look great. The elevated vegan dishes. Costa, just for our audience, how can our audience order from Flaming Stove if they wanted delivery or pickup, or how are you operating these days, just given the pandemic?
So we're one of the luckier ones that we didn't have to shut down completely because we've been a mostly takeout. We've never been served a la carte and sit down. So in that sense, not much changed. People could walk in and order, or they could order through our website, pay for it, and arrange for it to be picked up. If they want delivery, we usually have partners like Skip the Dishes, like DoorDash, like these delivery apps that we now have available. Again, the pandemic changed a lot of things of how many people we could get in, how many people could be present in that time. But again, I could imagine how we could go back soon into normality, where you are able to actually interact better with people and have more people coming in, and that excitement of finding a lot of people in your place brings you energy that you cannot recreate by this circumstances that we live in.
No, I agree, and humans, we're all social creatures. So, and food has always been a social event for sure. Yeah.
It's true. So hopefully we'll be soon out of this, and I'm ready to have a patio sit down or a restaurant sit down anywhere. I'm very very excited about getting out of this not normal situation we're in.
Yes, me too. I can't wait as well. Thank you so much, Costa. So what we're gonna do now. That was quick as well, by the way. Not only is it delicious, elevated, it was fast to make. What we'll do now is we'll add Faris so that he can walk us through his dish. But if you don't mind sticking around, I'd love to talk to both of you in the end. That would be great, Costa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And hopefully soon we will be in Faris' new restaurant, sitting and enjoying beautiful created dishes by him. I'm sure we can't wait.
I personally can't wait. Faris, have you had a chance to see Costa's ending result?
Yes, absolutely. It looks delicious and a very well executed dish. I love it, and it was very interesting and easy to make, and looking forward to try it myself as well.
Okay, perfect. So we'll transition to Faris for now, but me? Costa, you're not off the hook. We'll be talking to you in a few minutes. So Faris, just before you get started, thank you for joining us. The kitchen looked great. The ingredients look fresh and ready to be cooked. Do you want to walk the audience through the dish you'll be making for us today?
Absolutely. All right. So today we're going to be making one of our staple dishes at Eggstatic. It's called kefta Scotch eggs, which is basically ground beef that we mix with some spices, parsley, and grated onions. And then after that, we stuff it with half-boiled egg, and we're gonna bread it and fry it to perfection, and it's gonna be something delicious. So you guys are definitely gonna enjoy.
I can't wait. I'm just going to list the ingredients again in case anyone is cooking along or they want to try this tomorrow or the day after. So you're using ground beef, white onions, curly parsley, pomegranate molasses, tomato paste, 7 spices, salt, black pepper, asparagus, lemon, and 1 garlic clove. Faris, I can tell you that I've tried this dish myself at your restaurant. It's absolutely delicious. I really encourage everyone to give it a try.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Absolutely, thank you so much.
Okay, Faris.
Now you're gonna know how to
off
make
to
it
you.
at home, so you don't have to come here.
No, we'll definitely come.
All right, awesome. So we're gonna be starting. All right, so we're gonna be starting with our ground beef. So basically, you just can get like lean ground beef or grind it yourself at home, and I'd say around 120 grams is a good size for us. That way, it contains the egg well, and it's not overly meaty. And the way we're gonna start is this is the beef, and we're gonna add the spices to it. So we're gonna go in with a pinch of 7 spices, and we're gonna go with a little bit of pomegranate molasses, just a little bit on top, and some grated onions. It's better to make sure the onions are grated, not diced, just because you don't want it to release all its water while it's in the fryer. It might break the breading. So we're gonna go in with that, some curly parsley, and we're gonna give it a good mix. So basically, this is a classic recipe for a kafta meat, and you can play with the taste of the beef. You can make it like more traditional, like a sausage, or you can make it even like instead of using the ground beef, you can really use falafel dough. You can use vegan sausage. I've tried it with that before, and it's absolutely delicious. So this is just like what we chose for today, and the meat is gonna look just like that. I'm not sure if it's clear on the camera. So after it's mixed a little bit, this is how it's gonna look like. And now we're gonna start spreading it on our cutting board. So you just want to go and lightly press it as if you're making like a burger patty, but you want to make it a little bit thinner. All right, and now we're gonna go in with.
I think we lost your image for a second.
Good? Can you guys see me?
Oh, you're back now. You're back.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good now.
Perfect. All right, so I pre-boiled these eggs, so it's basically half-boiled. It depends how well you want your eggs to be cooked. So you can go hard-boiled all the way. You can go half-boiled. We love to make it half-boiled here because once we cut it, we want all that egg yolk to fall out and add extra flavor and juiciness to the beef. So we're gonna go and put the egg right on top like this, and we're gonna start forming the beef around it. So you're gonna go like that. And then this is how it's gonna look like. I'm not sure if it's kind of clear on the camera. All right.
It is.
And then we're gonna start enclosing around it. Just like you can use a technique that you make kebab with, and that will definitely work even better than this way. The only reason I'm making it this way is just because it looks easier on camera and people can see it. So after that, once the bowl is almost closed, we're gonna start lightly pressing for the beef to attract each other and stick together. And don't worry if it doesn't stick all the way and if it's not perfectly formed ball, because once we put it into the egg yolk and it's going to be breaded with the breadcrumbs, it's going to seal it even more. And this is how it's looking like so far. So this is our kefta scotch eggs. And now we're going to be moving into the breading process. So we're going to let it set aside right here. Are gonna start setting up our breading station. So it's very simple, 2 steps. Now you can make it a little bit more complicated if you want to add flour to the process, but for here we're just gonna be using eggs and breadcrumbs. So we're gonna get in with 1 egg is fine. So you're just gonna break your eggs, whisk it in. And then you can add a little bit more spices, so 7 spices. I'd like to go with some salt and black pepper, and this is ready to go. We have breadcrumbs for today. Now, again, you can substitute the breadcrumbs with flour, or you can use breadcrumbs, or you can use both. But we will be using breadcrumbs just the same way that we do at Eggstatic.
Is there a benefit one or the other, Faris? Is there a benefit if you use flour versus breadcrumbs, in your opinion?
Basically, I like flour more because it gives more crispiness to whatever you fry. But breadcrumbs gives better color. So it depends really which one you like. A mix of both gives you a little bit of both worlds, but the flour kind of sometimes it can burn on you and make it look darker than it should. Breadcrumbs will give you that perfect golden brown color after frying. So you really can choose any, just whatever comes handy, whatever you have at home. You can even play with it, make sure put some panko, you can put some crushed Doritos into the flour. You can go crazy with it and be innovative, do it your own way. And we're just doing a classic for today. So we're gonna go with our meatball into the egg wash. And remember, we season the egg wash. And we're gonna drain it just like that. And then we're gonna start coating it with breadcrumbs.
What did you season the egg wash with? Just salt and pepper?
Salt, pepper, 7 spices, and that's it. If you want it to look more herby and greeny, what you can do to the egg wash, you can add some really finely chopped chives or dill weed. That will give it an amazing taste as well. So after coating it, now you can drop it in the fryer right away, but what I like to do is double coat it. So I'll go again in the egg wash one more time on the breadcrumbs, just so it forms, I would say, a texture that's more crispy than it would with one layer of coating. So
it probably keeps it together more.
All right, and your kefta ball is ready to go. Absolutely. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that's our ball. It's looking good and it's sealed all the way through. So we're just gonna drop it on the fryer. Now for here, because we're at the restaurant, I'm gonna drop it into a deep fryer at 300 degrees, but you can do the same at home. Just heat up some vegetable oil in your pot, have it almost at 300. You don't want it to like boil right away. You want it to kind of start boiling as it goes. So 300 is good. If you can maybe measure temperature before you put it in, that would be also awesome. And we're gonna go in the fryer. Now for this recipe, if you're on a diet or you don't really like to eat some fried foods, what you can do is you can bake it in the oven at also 375 degrees. That can work as well. Just gonna make sure the fryer is good to go. Give me a second. All right, so at this time it's gonna take around, I'd say 10 minutes to cook all the way through. So what we can do now, get our asparagus ready. So we're just gonna clean our table so we can move on into our garnishes.
Perfect. Faris, while you do that, do you want to tell the audience about your new suhoor innovation that you're doing, which is a special on the weekends, and how they can order?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're doing this suhoor special that we started, I think, last week, and it's exclusively at Eggstatic location, Babe and Eglinton. So the way it works is you just go on our website, you place your order beforehand between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. It's only on Saturdays and Sundays, and you can place your order for delivery. We deliver all around the GTA, or if you prefer pickup, that can work. You can leave your instructions. We do curbside pickups, or we can deliver it to your doorstep. All these options are available. And it's going to be, of course, up till May 9, I think it's going to be the last Sunday of Ramadan. And it's just like an interesting concept that we've been working on. And it was actually, we wanted to do it on our patio. And that was the plan. And we wanted to open between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. and offer the suhoor special. But unfortunately, we had to close and we decided to just have that experience delivered to people at home.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. It's an innovative idea for sure. You might be one of the first ones, so it could could be quite big. That's all.
No, absolutely. Actually, it's been working out very well, and we cannot wait. Like, probably next Ramadan, we're gonna have it in on our patio if it's the weather is good, or even dine in. And it's just a different vibe because back home we're used to, like in Ramadan, we stay after tour and we just don't go home till like 2, 3 a.m. And there's like specific vibes of like, I don't know if you guys know, back home we have like these tents where we have tour or tour added, so it just adds another flavor to our Ramadan nights.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we have a question for you related to the Sahur special. Dania Majid is
Yeah.
asking, do you deliver to Mississauga or is it just Toronto City specifically?
So we basically deliver all over the GTA. It's around 40 miles around Eggstatic. So Mississauga, I think most of it is definitely covered within the delivery range. So, but just to make sure, if you want to know that you can be you can get your food delivered, what you do is you go online, and if it allows you to order for delivery, then you should be good to go. But
Okay.
Mississauga, 99% we deliver all over Mississauga. Yeah.
Perfect.
So just asparagus, just a quick note on it. So we're just gonna, I like to cut these ends off. You can choose to keep them. The only way I like to cut them is because they can get really, like, because this side of the asparagus cooks faster than the ends cuts. And I don't want this side to be overcooked by the time this side cooks. So you can definitely keep this. Don't throw it out. We make vegetable stock out of it, and it's gonna be delicious. All right, so that's our asparagus, and we're gonna get a bowl. And it's a very simple recipe. We're not gonna make it complicated. We're only gonna go with salt, black pepper. We're gonna squeeze fresh lemon juice, around half a lemon, I would say, is good to go. And we're gonna hit it with some minced garlic. And just to combine all these flavor and have a binding agent, we're gonna have our flavored olive oil with thyme and rosemary, but you can literally just use any olive oil. And we're gonna give it a good mix and drop it on a saute pan for like 4 minutes until it becomes crispy. And this is gonna be our garnish with the kafta scotch eggs for today. So
Looks
just make sure
delicious,
a common, thank you. Make sure a common mistake that people do when like sauteing asparagus or zucchini or whatever vegetable is that they don't leave enough space between the stems, and that what does, it creates steam and it can make your vegetables soggy. So what you want is put it in a large enough saute pan where there's space between each asparagus, and that way it can just cook and not create enough water to steam them. So that way they become crispy and perfectly caramelized. So our asparagus are perfectly seasoned right now, and we're gonna drop it on the saute pan. Gonna be checking on our scotch eggs. It looks like it's gonna be ready in 2 more minutes.
Great. So Faris, has your recipes evolved a lot, would you say, since opening Eggstatic? Have you had to change your menus often, or is that something that you do normally? You like to change recipes often?
So just to put it this way, basically like Eggstatic, we changed our menu probably 15 times in the first 3 months. So I do change the menu a lot. We change the recipes a lot. And we keep adding and improving, customizing our dishes. Because we kind of like keep finding new flavor that can be innovative and added to our classic like Middle Eastern dishes. And we do take some stuff out of the menu, put it back in a different season. It really depends on how things are looking. And yeah, that's about it. But
That's
yeah, we
very
do change the menu at Ecstatic a lot.
That's very cool, very cool. And you also added a new restaurant recently, right? Backyard Smokehouse.
Yes,
A little bit
absolutely.
different from brunch.
Yeah, it's basically almost totally the opposite. Backyard is a smokehouse that's up at DuPont at Spadania, downtown area. And what we feature there is a smokehouse barbecue menu that revolves around like the normal brisket, short ribs, beef back ribs, smoked chicken, smoked trims, all this interesting stuff. And we also have our own Middle Eastern twist to it. So when you come to the backyard, you'll find like wara ainab with brisket. You'll find sausage stuff with pistachio. You find other stuff like cauliflower, smoked cauliflower with harissa. And sorry if it's a little bit smoky, but it's actually the asparagus is good to go, and we're gonna start plating it.
Well,
But yeah, so we just opened the backyard 2 weeks ago, I would say, and we're very excited to like this is still our soft opening. Our grand opening is gonna be once we open our patio for people to dine in.
it's really nice
So
to have
far,
more
we
and
have
more Palestinian options.
asparagus on the plate.
Sorry,
Yeah, no,
there's a
absolutely.
little bit of a delay,
The
but it's
reason
nice
we-
to have more options for Palestinian cuisine. That was what I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, like the plan was to open another Ecstatic location up at downtown, but once I saw the place that we took for the backyard, we fell in love with the backyard and the way it looks, and we thought that we can add a new interesting idea to like the Middle Eastern restaurants map in Toronto, and we find that Smokehouse will be a different twist to where Middle Eastern restaurants are going in Toronto, and I see a lot of them opening very soon as well, and we can't wait to have it added to our Middle Eastern restaurant scene.
Very cool.
All right, so now we have our asparagus, our Scotch eggs are done, and we are going to be cutting them. You can actually leave it like that and then serve it. I don't know if you guys can see it. You can leave it just like this and serve it to people, whatever you want to impress, and don't tell them what's in it. Let them slice into it and just find the egg yolk running out of it, or you can slice it for them and have it ready on the plate. So just for presentation purposes, we are going to be slicing it in half, and let's see how it looks from the inside.
How long did you put it in the fryer for, roughly, Faris?
So I'd say that was around 10 minutes, 9, 10 minutes, something like that. All right. So this is how this looks. I don't know if it's clear on the camera. So you see the egg yolk running out of it, and it's gonna add.
Maybe if
extra
we
juice
zoom in
into
a
the plate.
bit, so the audience can see the
Sure.
egg
Yeah.
yolk.
Let's zoom in a bit. Let's try to do that.
Wow, that looks wonderful.
I hope.
Wow,
Yeah, we're gonna zoom in again after we plated it as well.
cool.
And then at this point, you can, because the egg yolk inside is not seasoned at all, the seasoning didn't hit it. So what we're gonna do is gonna hit it with some salt and black pepper, just a pinch, to have your egg yolk seasoned. And you can do crushed chili pepper flakes or Aleppo flakes. That will also taste delicious. And this is total your preference. I like to add some pomegranate molasses, a little bit over the Scotch eggs and asparagus, just to give it a tangy flavor. And you can serve it just like that, or you can put some potatoes on the plate. Just to put all my favorite ingredients on, we're gonna have some potatoes added.
Wow.
And that's it. That's our kefta Scotch eggs with some charred asparagus and home-style seasoned potatoes.
Wow, that looks so delicious, Faris. Amazing.
Thank you.
And it's very interesting because
Yeah.
kofta is a very traditional dish that everyone, cooks at home. It's relatively simple to make. But, this is quite innovative and elevating it for sure.
No, absolutely. That's what we keep trying, and we love innovating. And it's it's a twist to our usual breakfast. And I can't wait for you guys to try it and let me know what you think.
Awesome. Okay, Faris. So what we'll do now is we'll invite Costa back. We'll have just a quick conversation, and then we'll close it off. Costa, that looks delicious, doesn't it?
I can't wait till I try it. Again, we're waiting for him to open up again for sit down, and we'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried this dish, and I do remember it being delicious. I remember myself and the committee went there for brunch once. Faris invited us over, and it was delicious. And just seeing it again reminds me of being in person in a restaurant, which feels like we haven't done that in over a year now.
Yeah, I know. We miss it.
Absolutely.
Get ready. When you open up, we're all coming back.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so sorry, guys. Your voice was a little bit cutting off. I didn't get that, but
we're saying when you open up, we're all coming for it. So get ready.
Absolutely, man. That'll be a pleasure. Anytime to have you guys, it will be a pleasure.
We miss sitting down somewhere and being served food. Yeah, it's something that I think everyone is wishing.
I know. We took it for granted for so many years, and now it just sounds so special. So just being at a restaurant, and it's crazy how life turned around. But hopefully, we come out of it all strong and healthy, and we'll see how it goes. I was at Flaming Stove yesterday, actually, and got some shawarma for tour.
Good.
For me and my team, so it was delicious as usual. Best shawarma in town. I love it. You guys keep killing it.
You're very kind. Now, my daughter is asking me, she heard that you deliver. She says, does he deliver to Newmarket? I said, if he goes to, but I could pick up. So, but you don't deliver that far, do you?
Newmarket is far, I think.
Actually, like it depends. Like if it's basically it's by miles. So if it's within, I think 40 miles radius. That's for Newmarket. It depends. So that might cover. Yeah. Might cover, might not, but regardless of the case, Costa, for you, we'll deliver it even to Thunder Bay. So just let me know, and I'll have it ready.
No, I think I could pick up for sure. But we're definitely planning on a breakfast from you now. They got inspired in here. Everyone, can we order this? I say, sure, we can. Yes. So we will definitely try it at home first, and then we'll be coming to your new place. I would love the smokehouse. That's an excellent, flavor. Smoked meat and barbecue. Yeah, it calls for good weather and summer.
And it's trendy now. I feel like smokehouses are back in trend, right? Right now.
No, 100%. Like they are, and it's like everybody's adding their own twist and their own innovation to smokehouses, and they're basically making it more related to their country or their cuisine or where they're coming from. And that's what we're trying to do, and it's a very interesting concept. Honestly, it's very much harder than I thought it would be, because everything takes like 16 hours and more to cook, and it's like crazy to just stay nights and morning. But at the end of the day, it's worth it, and hopefully it shows on the flavor of the meat when you guys come and try it. And we'll be more than happy to host all of you and anybody in Toronto.
Do you have your menu with any kind of influence, Middle Eastern influence to the smokehouse, or is it purely traditional that you're doing at this point?
I'm so sorry. I still didn't get that. Your voice cut off, Chef. I didn't hear what the chef said.
I was wondering if you added any Middle Eastern influence into the flavors of the smokehouse that you opened. I'm curious about that. Or is it traditional?
Absolutely. I really want to know what you think of it, and give me your feedback about it once you try it. And hopefully you're going to like it. Maybe you can share some advices and ideas how I can make it even better. So you're the master, and Chef Costa, our role model in this community. And we all look up to you, and hopefully we'll all keep growing together.
Habibi, you're doing more than all of us, so congratulations. We're happy for you, and you're doing an awesome job. You're bringing the food to another level. We're happy for you.
So guys, I was curious, since you're both chefs and both have restaurants, we obviously know the negative impacts of the pandemic, but I'm curious, there's probably a silver lining to it. It may have accelerated certain aspects of the restaurant industry. Curious, Costa, I think Faris is just having a little bit of difficulty right now. If you can tell us if there's anything that it forced you to do that you think will benefit your restaurant in the long term.
From my end, I there's few small little changes that as a takeout place that we had to adapt to, that I think for sure will keep, is that we used to have everything readily available for the client to pick up, like cutlery, napkins, and all that stuff, and many hands will go into it. And we learned that, it actually is safer, better, and much easier to control who touches these things by actually handing them or package, instead of packaging, because plastic, we're trying not to use too much plastic. So that the other thing is that I found is when you actually serving, is to ask people to stand a little bit away from the counter. It benefits everybody, and I think that's another thing that people, if they allow and they get used to it, we may keep that also.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's simple things that you would think everyone has thought about before, but it just, the pandemic gave us a different lens to see. Faris, were you able to hear the question, or would you like me to repeat it? Okay. I can't hear you right now. That's okay. So, yeah, maybe what we'll do is we have an audience question from Dania. She asked, can you share with us your favorite Easter or Ramadan dishes? And it doesn't have to be on your menu, just maybe, referencing back to your childhood, time back in home and with the family. And I don't know if Faris can hear us, so Costa, I think you'll have to start us off again on this one.
No problem. For me, Easter is what we celebrate usually, and that comes in usually in spring. And one of my favorite things in spring is actually fresh za'atar that we pick, and we make salad out of it. We make bread out of it. Ilet, khubbezi. These are my favorite dishes that I really connect with when it comes to that particular period, spring, and anything that comes out of the mountain.
Perfect. That sounds so delicious. You guys are just making me more hungry. And it's a few hours before iftar. Faris, any favorite dishes on your end from a Ramadan or Easter perspective, referencing back to family? Faris, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Just give him a few seconds. Let's see if he can fix the audio. Okay. Still can't hear you, Faris. Try now. Okay. Okay, I can't hear you. So maybe what we'll do is, if we can just put the links to Eggstatic and Flaming Stove at the bottom, I would encourage our audience to order from both restaurants. They're both absolutely delicious. I've personally tried them both, and I'm a huge foodie, so believe me, it's absolutely delicious. Thank you guys, both of you, for taking us through the dishes today and for walking us through this. I'm sure we have audience members frantically writing down the ingredients, and they're going to try it on their own time. Thank you also for supporting us more broadly with the festival. Costa is actually one of our sponsors for this year. Thank you, Costa. And Faris, you always are supporting us with events, and you always are supporting us with food for events, and you're always there and kind with us. We appreciate it a lot, guys. And what a delicious feast you've put together. I personally am feeling hungry. I don't know about everybody else. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
If you want to say any last words, go ahead before we close.
Get vaccinated. Let's get out of this pandemic fast. Please, everybody.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm just going to close it off. So I think you guys will probably be shifted away from the screen. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk soon, okay? Okay, guys, that was a delicious feast. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. I would like to give special thanks to Faris Awwad from Eggstatic and to Costa Warwar from Flaming Stove. Those dishes were delicious. As a quick reminder before I leave you today, please do save the date for our Nakba commemoration event, film and discussion, which will be on May 15th and 16th. And please do support TPFF through this fundraiser that we do have, which is at the bottom of the screen that you're seeing scrolling across. By donating any amount, big or small, to our fundraiser, 100% of the proceeds go to actually setting up and operating our 14th year for TPFF. Also, please make sure to support local restaurants such as Flaming Stove and Eggstatic through our Sahtain at Home initiative at tpff.ca/Sahtain-at-home-Ramadan at the bottom of the screen. Let's support our local businesses as they go through this pandemic with us. I also want to thank our restaurant partners overall that are part of the Sahtain at Home initiative, which you do see on the screen. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you. Stay safe and have a great evening.